I mean, the chances are we're running out of time. He's going to tee it up again, it appears. He announced over the weekend, tee it up again tomorrow. Try to put together a stopgap measure as well to get funding, put forward funding on defense, security, homeland security, agriculture, and state, and then to put some continuing resolutions together to try to keep negotiations open over the next couple weeks, so past the October 1 deadline. But it's just not clear that he's going to be able to convince the hardliners. They dug in over the weekend on TV, and so it's not obvious. I think what we're going to begin to see is the Democrats move legislation forward in the Senate, and that should land on McCarthy's desk sometime on Thursday or Friday, an 11th hour move to force McCarthy to cut a deal with the Democrats.
We know there's some element of electioneering in this time frame in the countdown to a presidential election. How key is that when it comes to the politics and the type of approach some politicians will take? The other part here, the economics, how difficult is it at a time when we do have this prospect of a government shutdown where credit costs are much higher than what they've been? Yeah,
look, I think the Republicans are running a real risk here. Every time they have shut the government down, 95, 96, 2013, 2017, 18, they have paid a price politically for it. So, but the thing is, they've got a bunch of hardliners who are raising money over this in their local campaigns, and they're putting the party, basically the party, at risk. For the Democrats, I mean, this is a problem. If there's actually a government shutdown and the economy slows down, that's on Biden's watch. So it could come back to haunt Joe Biden as well if we end up in one of these things like that occurred under Trump, where it just goes on and on and on.
What is wrong with the centre? I mean, this is something that I guess you've been looking at an awful lot as well, because we haven't always been this polarised in US politics. In fact, many times bipartisanship has worked beautifully over in the post-war period. Let's just look at that as well. In fact, over for a longer period as well. Why is the centre so toxic at the moment for a lot of Republicans and, dare I say it, for a lot of Democrats?
Because the system is so deeply polarised at this point. And it's not just in Congress. When you look at public opinion, it's also very deeply polarized. So essentially what goes on is both parties need to play towards their extremes, and it has hollowed out the center. I mean, there is a move by the so-called problem-solving caucus in the House, which is made up of Republicans and Democrats, the centrists. It's a relatively small group. They're going to try to engineer a discharge motion in the House to basically bypass the normal process, the committees, and land this thing, some legislation, on the floor to keep the House open.